Hi, everyone. It's Lynn here with all of my buddies, and we are having our August Tarot Readers podcast. And today we're talking about tarot haters, but it's not really tarot haters. I hate that word haters.
Mhm.
It's people that are not comfortable with a tarot and how they react and how we react to how they react. And I've been doing fairs. I had been doing fairs and festivals for 8 years before I moved from Minnesota to South Texas. And down here, I've done some what they call pop-ups, which are like flea markets. And I had nothing up north, nothing in Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, nothing ever happened. And so when I got down here to Texas, I did have a couple of what I call hit and runs. Where somebody would walked up to my table and said, "God doesn't approve of this," and and then they walk away, and you're kind of standing there stunned, or they're standing there waiting for your response. And mine has always been to say, "Thanks for your opinion," and I turn around and walk away from them, or I'll leave my booth if I have to get away from them. But I don't engage that, and they don't force me to engage. And I think for that, I think we can be stunned and we can kind of find some humor in it. It's like, okay, everybody has an opinion, and I don't think it affects us. But I think that when it's relationships that matter to us, friends, family, acquaintances, there she is. Yay.
Hey,
Yay. Hi, Kate.
Hey,
Welcome
hey,
back.
Jay.
Glad to have you here. Okay,
good to see you.
she's working it.
Yes.
Sorry, we had internet issues.
Well,
Oh,
everybody did. So it's like, yay. Anyway, I've already got it started, and what I was talking about was how the hit and runs don't really bother us.
yeah.
It's I was just starting to say it's the personal relationships, the ones that matter, and when those people have issues, now we have something that we have to deal with them in some way. And honestly, as long as I've been doing this 10 years, when somebody that an acquaintance that I know or that I like, or, or a family member says something negative, it does affect me. And I'm not quite sure how it feels. It doesn't feel good. I have such a strong sense of self that it doesn't knock me off my pedestal, but it does undermine me in some way. And how do we deal with that? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I want to start by, and I'm going to keep it very brief, I promise. But I wanted to bring up this topic because I had an issue that happened recently. My husband went back for 2 weeks to Minnesota to visit friends and family. He had dinner with a couple that he has known and been very close to since long before I married him 31 years ago. So I have had a social connection or relationship with these people for quite some time. And in 2015, 10 years ago, when I started my tarot practice, and came out of the tarot closet. This woman who is extremely religious made it kind of clear to me in a very short way that she wasn't comfortable with this. And so for 10, for 8 years, I was careful to never say anything, never bring it up. She didn't put her religion off on me. I didn't bring my tarot stuff to her. And, we found a way to communicate and, have a social life and get together. Um, for the past 2 years, I have left a couple of, obligatory, messages for her, a couple of texts, couple of voicemails. It never went returned. And so when Mark was up there last month, he talked to her about it, and she told him she did not return my phone calls or my texts because she, frankly, wasn't comfortable with what I was doing. And it's like, okay, but then when he said, listen, I'd love to have you come down. We'd love to have you stay anytime you're welcome to visit. She asked if they had room to accommodate us, to accommodate them. So here's a woman that can't return a simple, 10-minute conversation about how's the weather and how are your grandkids, right? she can't return my calls because she's that uncomfortable, but yet she can stay in my house for 3 or 4 days. And honestly, I've got all my crystals and books and tarot cards, and now that I'm doing aura cleansings, I've kind of gotten into meditation and incense. So now I'm burning incense in the house. And honestly, she's supposed to be calling with dates that they might have available to come down to see if we'd be available. And I'm waiting for those phone calls. And frankly, girls, I don't know quite how to deal with that because my home is my castle. I go out to be with people. I come to the sanctity and the of the inner workings of my home. It's my only place I feel really safe and secure. And I don't like bringing bad energy, into this space. So I guess there's three ways of dealing with it, right? I could ignore her phone calls, just that'd be that, or I do what I normally do, which is just deal with it head on and say, listen, why would you want to be here? But I'm trying to be really respectful of my husband because he really cares about these people. He has a 50-year relationship with them. So, but I just honestly, I think they'd be better off staying in a hotel. But that's a conversation I'd have to have with her. So, you know what I'm saying? This is where it hits home. This is where what we do and being judged by people so badly. I mean, I really want to just tell her to piss off because I never have really liked her. It's not that I haven't liked her. I just have never really, had a connection with her. So, what do you guys think about the personal relationships when it comes to, I mean, have you guys had any I want to hear your stories about people that have either sat at your table and been so skeptical and judgmental, that it's made you uncomfortable, or family or friends or passersby. What do you guys, anybody have any stories and how you dealt with it? Yvonne, you've sat at tables. You're out in the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this whole topic just makes me it makes me laugh because uh, people are people and they're gonna have their opinions, and there is a saying about opinions that I won't say right now, but
Yep. Opinions are like assholes. We all have one. I'll
and
say
they
it.
all stink
Yeah.
at times.
It's
Anyway,
true.
I have to laugh. I'm empathetic towards your situation. Um, but the thing is that this person is really, wow. I say, let them come, let them experience your full
My
woo,
my
your
full
full
wrath.
woo. Yeah, yeah, crystals. In fact, I would actually I would probably go as far as putting out some extra candles and maybe even a deck in the bathroom.
Actually, I was kind of thinking the same thing about maybe spreading this stuff out a little bit, but
I mean, that's just, the thing is that, yeah, there have been people in my life that have come and gone, and that were, the raised eyebrow. Ooh, you know, I've had, in fact, a close friend, say, oh, the tarot, it's just, a bunch of scammers going after people for their money, and I'm like, really? I go, is that what you think of me? Well, no, not you. I was like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's what I do. I mean, I read. I am a tarot reader. So, no, no, but not you. I was like, well, okay, you're biased. I go, you need to go home and reflect on what you just said because that's not fair. It's not true.
yeah.
Are there scammers out there? There's scammers everywhere doing everything, but the people who are legit, and we do it for a purpose that's higher than money. We do it because we're there to help.
Mhm.
Um, and if people have a problem with that, it's guess what? It's their problem.
Yeah.
They need to deal with it. We don't have to deal with it. And when somebody comes up to a table and, when you told that story about someone coming up to your table and saying, God
God
does not
doesn't
approve of
approve
this.
of this. And she wasn't
Me,
going to leave my table. I had to leave my booth and walk away. And
Okay,
that was scary.
had she come to my table, I probably would have looked at her, grinned, and said, "Turn around." What? Turn around.
Mhm.
Why? I want to see your wings. Are you like one of God's messengers? Because, you know, I'd like to know that. I would just turn around, turn the situation around on them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, is that the right thing to do? Probably not, but that's probably something that I would do.
See, for me, I prefer not to engage them. I just feel like I feel like everybody has a right to their opinion. And
Sure.
sometimes people are so moved by a situation that they feel like they have to voice that opinion. But why is it that it's always religious? And Kate, you and I were talking about that just a couple of days ago about how it's always about God. And my acquaintance, my longtime acquaintance that wants to come down, I'll bet you she could quote the entire Bible by heart. She is so religious. And I don't I believe in God. Not everybody does, and that's fine. But I believe in God. I believe that I've been saved. I have a strong religious foundation background as a child. I just don't care to share it with people, and I don't care to debate it with people. But I also am a terrorist, and I believe in spirit, and actually my belief in God has actually gotten stronger because of my belief, my growing belief in spirit, and my gifts to for them to communicate with me. So I just don't feel the need to debate it with people. So I just try to be really respectful and say, okay, you have a right to your opinion. That's fine. Thank you for sharing, and walk away. But
Well, and then also, how are they approaching you? Are they, I think that, as you say, to be respectful is number one, right?
yeah,
Um, but do they get your goat? Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Do they make you uncomfortable? They'll make you uncomfortable, but you have to protect yourself too. As a
yeah.
reader, we
Well, yeah,
have
my
to
first
protect
this
ourselves.
last lady, she was adamant, man. She was up and in my face.
Oh.
So, and actually those people don't make me as uncomfortable as the people that are coming to my shop now. The people that come Sundays, I'm in a micro mall. Sundays it's packed. And it's the day I get the least amount of business, but it's the day I get the most amount of exposure, which is why I stay open. But people will walk by and then they'll start reading my sign. Ooh, their eyes get big, and then they kind of push their kids along. Oh, we're moving along here. When they figure out what I do. And honestly, that makes me more uncomfortable. Ooh, it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies because I'm in a big 6 foot by 6 foot, window. I'm exposed, watching these people go, oh my, and push on. Uh, but I think that the best of us and the ones that are those of us that are the most secure in what we do, we can still be affected by it. We can still be jolted by it in some way.
Well, and I think because you are in a place of where your shop is at, it's it's not necessarily just people of like mind. You're in a space that's wide open. You're going to get more of that if you're at a if you're at a fair, uh, new age fair or however they call them
Right.
these days, but
Mhm.
metaphysical fair. You're not going to get that kind of reaction because people know what they're getting. They know when they walk in the door
That's
where
true.
they're at,
Right.
you
And
know.
the two people that actually walked up and accosted me down here, one in Houston and one here, were at pop-ups, which are the like big flea markets down here.
Mhm.
And so I was not at a metaphysical event. They were neither either time. I was kind of exposed for that. But like I said, I'm strong, and to me those are almost kind of silly. But But what, like I said, when it comes to friends or family, you kind of got to handle it a little differently, you know. And it's still Kate, what do you have to say on this subject?
Well, I mean, as you know, and we have discussed this, is that generally speaking, I'm agnostic on the question of God and spirit, right?
Right.
I don't
You and D
know.
both. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I just don't know. I, as far as my own spiritual practice, I tend more towards Buddhism. And, I take great comfort in the statement, in the Buddhist teachings, where the Buddha was asked whether or not there was or was not gods of creation.
Right.
And it is recorded that he maintained his noble silence. In other words, he didn't consider it an important question for him to deal with. And so it's like, move along, there's other things to see here. And so I guess I've never really gone into although I do appreciate that a lot of people have very deeply held beliefs and they are very sincere in their beliefs.
Yeah.
But
But
just, it ain't my cup of tea. Um,
but when
Most of the time,
they throw those off, when they walk up to somebody and you know, you know, dump that off on somebody like us, unsuspecting, poor tarot readers sitting there,
uh,
and all of a sudden it's like how do you handle it? I mean, do you think that deserves a debate at that moment, or do you believe it deserves to be like the other guy where it's like,
I've never read like at a fair or anything like that. So you and Yvonne have it like legs up on me. I always find it very amusing when people talk about, tarot readers being scammers, because trust me, my accountant would fire me if I was doing it. When you look at the amount of money I spend on tarot decks and all that sort of stuff, which I collect because of the art, right?
yeah,
I have this collection where various artists from around the world have interpreted the same 78 things in a particular, and I love that interpretation, and that's why I collect tarot cards.
Mhm.
But as far as how tarot works, I mean, I think y'all know that I'm heavily hardcore into Jungian psychology, and this is how you tap into the collective unconscious,
yeah,
right?
Mhm.
Now, a contemporary professional psychologist would roll their eyes out, out of their head, because Jung is no longer considered to be cool in clinical psychology kind of terminology. But to me, that's the explanation that makes sense. Um, so that kind of steers it out of the God conversation. Um, but yeah, I can see some people think this is a portal
to hell.
to
They
hell.
do. They
Yeah.
think we're going straight to
Another concept
hell.
I don't believe in, but that's another story. Uh,
No,
But
absolutely.
they
they're
also feel
entitled to
like,
their opinion,
yeah,
right? And, thank you very much and move on along. You want to talk about Jungian psychology, then yeah, I'll sit down and talk with you. But
well,
if you just hear
most
the
people don't,
lecture,
they know nothing about that, and
yep.
they want to debate the Bible, and I don't. I haven't read the Bible in quite a few years, so
Well,
I
once upon
can't
a time,
debate
I
them on
read it
it.
cover to cover.
Yeah.
And because I had a bunch of weirdo parents, um, although my family was Protestant, I was sent to Catholic schools. So yeah, I have an
Oh,
interest. And I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. So I have a kind of eclectic background.
oh
You're
my
on about.
gosh.
So
So,
D, I
You
know.
may you may want me to go last because I'm just going to drop the hammer.
oh,
Okay.
oh, good.
So Anne Marie, have you had you're a big friends and family reader. Have you had issues within your family, or how have people reacted to you? And I mean, I know you have some family members that love to come to you and be read. They can hardly wait. But what about the others? Do you have
Well,
others?
strangely, I can see this from both sides because um, my family, we're all reckoned, well, all of the women in our family we have a large family. There are 5 girls and 3 boys. So all the women in our family are reckoned to be weirdos, woo-woos. They're all interested in this type of thing. They're all interested
Oh,
in therapies, in cards, in angels, in all thing. So I was the last one into it, and I didn't have very much. I was more of a logical bent, and when I saw one particular lady coming up with her tarot cards, which were wrapped in silk and then put into a fancy box and then put away, and we weren't allowed to touch them, and it was very, very. And I used to say to myself, "Oh my God, she's for the birds." And I had very little time. And the first tarot book that I bought, um, I just didn't have any time for. I didn't like it at all, and I thought it was for the birds. And I ended up getting rid of it fairly smartly. And
no.
then something happened, the penny dropped, and now I'm a pure believer, as to say, I'm a believer. But an interesting thing happened. So I can see what I should backtrack there a bit. I can see how people would be skeptical, and I can see how if it's not your thing, it's just not your thing. End of. And I'd be inclined to say to someone just when Lynn was saying, "What do you do with these people that you don't know?" Um, there's there's a thing you say like, "Oh, that's a very interesting point of view," and that's all it is really, an interesting point of view that they've got. End of story. It has no more power than that. But something happened years back. I was just thinking now. I was at um, it was called a murder mystery weekend where everyone acts a part, and one part of it we were all sitting at a big table, and you had to do fancy dress, and I didn't have any fancy dress that time. So what I did is I dressed myself up as a card reader, and I did have a pack of cards, so I put a scarf around my head and put cards sticking in and out and all that type of thing. And I remember being at the table and saying to some lady in the far distance, I didn't know her from Adam, and saying, "I know all about you. You're not the person we think you say you are. There are things about you." Woo. Well, she nearly lost her reason. She went berserk. She nearly cried. She stood up and she said, "Don't you dare say things about me. Don't you tell anyone my business." And and it suddenly struck me that people are a bit scared. Afterwards, I had a chat with her afterwards,
Yeah.
and she was saying, I was saying, "This is only fun." I wasn't into tarot at that stage, but she said, "You have a perception that tarot people who read cards are tuned into something, and they know your business, and you're afraid of what they'll say about you. They're afraid you know
Do you think they're
their
afraid we're
darkness,
going
that
to
you can
judge them for?
yeah, they're just it's a fear thing. With her, it was a fear thing. She was afraid I would start saying something about her,
Mhm.
things that had gone on in her family, to prove that I could read her.
I
And
have
uh,
young
and I
people right
found that
now.
once or twice that people shy away.
Yeah, I have young people right now that come
Sorry.
by the shop and they say, I say, Would you like a tarot reading today?" It's like, "Ooh, I'm too afraid." He's like, "Afraid
Sure.
of what?" So I mean, I
Fear of
know
the unknown.
there's
I
a
think that's
certain amount of,
Yes,
yeah, there's an unknown
fear
there.
of
There's
the
a certain
unknown.
amount of fear. So D,
they're just. I
wait,
one thing struck. It hadn't struck me until then that people are afraid that you know too much about them and that they feel vulnerable, that you can read what's going on. And you were asking about family members. Some will come and they'll get a reading and they'll say, "No, I suppose," but they'll come back and they'll get another reading. So that's all good. So I haven't had any bad experiences now, I have to say, with family members. The ones who say they don't believe in it, they still come back for another reading and they say, "Well, throw a few cards again and we'll see what they say this time."
yeah.
But they're interested.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you haven't had haven't had bad
But I
experience
think
with
fear is a
family.
big thing.
Yeah.
Fear. You're right. That
I
is.
mean, I know of people who've been,
Yes,
just
yes.
disconnected from their families because of what they're doing, because they're getting involved in it and stuff. People think tarot is Wiccan or pagan, or what I'm saying. It's not. I mean, it's not any religion. It's just a pack of cards. Like I say on my brochure, it's not magic. It's a pack of cards that display, pictures for anything from the, the mundane to the major, lessons of life. And when laid out in certain patterns, it helps us, see our way forward. I mean, that's, it's not that
I,
simple. It's the simple,
I, I tell you what I found comforting. Our friend, our good friend and mentor, Vincent Battisti,
Yes.
he made it very simple. He took out the woo element. He had the logical element. And I found that very comforting because I've been reading books and they say, you shuffle the cards and then you'll find this kind of shiver will go through you when when you have them shuffled enough. So sometimes if a person starting off is wondering, oh, I won't get a good reason reading if I don't shuffle these cards properly. Have I shuffled them enough? And he took that mystique out of it.
Yeah.
So maybe the shuffling of the cards more to settle yourself and to settle your seeker. But I found that very empowering that he was saying there's a logic to it, and it doesn't have to be all woo woo. There's certainly you get this feeling from time to time. You're reading away and you don't know why. You know something as if you knew it all the time, and you say this to somebody
Right.
as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
and they say, "How did you know that?" But that's something that just happens.
Yeah. So getting back on the topic
I
of
think.
haters or people that don't like us, Dee, what do you have to say, my friend?
Uh, well, I've had the situation where I was approached, and the one instance was, so do you think you're God? That's what it was said. So you think you're God, and you're going to tell me the things that I should do now, and um, besides, and you use cards to do it. And I looked at them first for a little bit to see what facial expression it was. There was fear there, but then I turned around and said, "Of course I'm God. We all are. So now what do you want to know? We're
Because
all
yeah,
made from the same essence, which creates an aura, and that's energy. So I think you need to do some more reading on it before you step in that pot that says, nah, I don't like it." So, and that was it. And she thanked me and walked away. I had another one where, um, do you, everything around you seems black. I said, oh, do you see auras? Well, no. Then how do you know that? I'm not black. I'm far from black. So these are the things that get twisted around. It's all fear. It is all fear. And as far as being religious and all that stuff, those are the ones I do hear it from mainly because they feel that you're crossing a line. But when you think about it, we're all working in the same pattern. If even the mudras that we do, it can be the sign of the cross, but the sign of the cross can be air, fire, your east and west, earth, water. There you go. I just did it. So you just have to show them or explain to them or give them a little wink and say, not today. I do this because I know what I have as far as me.
yeah.
This is me. And if you don't like that, then I'm really sorry because I'm pretty cool.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're first coming out, it's so scary. And I have since now that I have been out of the closet for 10 years. And of course, I worked for a long time where I stayed in the closet because of my corporate job, and I was afraid that it would affect my ability to get work. I didn't want I didn't want to have it used against me. So I was kind of afraid to bring. I finally came out of the closet, and now that I look back, I'm seeing people that I've met and people that I've taught tarot to that are still in the closet or still really afraid. They even when I've even had people come to me for practice sessions where they won't show their face on the camera, just between them and me. They're just still afraid to be seen. And I think that in the beginning, I think what I would tell an aspiring tarotist that is still is feeling the heebie-jeebies of that is that when as you grow confidence in what you're doing, you grow confidence in yourself. And I think then you can, you can look at these people and just say, gosh, I'm really sorry that you are so uninformed. Because really that's what they are. We need to look at them as just being uninformed and you're at a crossroads there if you want to try to inform them and get into that debate with them, or if you would prefer to say, thank you for your opinion. I'm sorry you're so uninformed, and step back. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think people at that point, if they confront you, I don't really think they want to be, those hit and run people don't want to be informed. They
Well,
just want to voice their opinion. But family, that's different. Family, friends, it's people who you care about. And I think it's hard for any of us if we feel that somebody that we know is judging us. I think
no,
that still feels bad. And I feel bad that this woman, I'm uncomfortable that this woman is judging me. And you guys know me. I mean, I'm as tough as nails, I'm as strong as they come. But that still kind of brings you to your knees a little bit, or makes your knees buckle a little bit
Yeah, but
when,
Lynn, if you're letting her you feel like that she's winning, don't waste
you
your energy on it.
know.
I'm
I think it's a sign of what I'm bothered by is the fact that I have spent 10 years being respecting her um, lack of comfort in my craft. And I've gone out of my way not to bring it up and to make sure we have other things to talk about. And yet, here she is 10 years later. It just feels so disrespectful to
well,
me.
it is, but I'm with
You
Yvonne. Wait, go ahead,
Yes,
invite her and
yes.
load up your bathrooms with candles and all your treasures and go ahead and do it.
yeah,
If she wants to come, she has to know who you are,
Yeah.
and you're not a
Do
bad
you,
person.
do you think I should? Well, and I know she knows I'm not a bad person. She just doesn't approve of what I'm doing. But do you think I should have that conversation with her before she gets here?
You
no,
Or do
know,
you think I should just,
just
drop
let
it
her
on her?
come.
Just let her
Look,
come.
yeah.
what
Yep.
I'm
No,
here, what
I
I'm hearing.
would be to, I would be inclined to. I agree with Yvonne and Dee. I would. You're going to be the bad guy if you do anything that doesn't allow her to come. Mark is not going to like it either. No matter what he says, deep down he's going to feel a little bit off-putting.
Hey,
So,
hey, Mark,
for,
did you want to get in on this conversation?
well,
He's
so I
listening
think
to it.
so. I think you would be the stronger person if you were
Yeah.
if you were to say to her, "Look, if you want to come, you're welcome, but just know I still read tarot, and my house is full of all my tarot
See, that's what I'm
paraphernalia."
thinking is
Yeah.
it having that conversation with her over the phone and say, but I would like to ask her point blank, listen, oh my gosh, I understand that you are so uncomfortable with what I'm doing that you can't even return a text or a phone call. Why do you want to be here? Why do you want to come? I'd
But
like
you
That's
to
a
see,
curiosity that you can just let sleeping dogs lie. Don't
You know
ask.
what? You
Give her the
must be
surprise.
you must be a mind reader because you just took the words right out of my head.
yeah.
D.
well, finish what you were saying then, Dee, because
No, she needs to come in. It is the where once she gets dropped into that, she will learn on her own not to be fearful, take you for what you are. You wouldn't hurt a fly.
yeah.
And if it's that bad, you opened up your place to let her come in. It's her decision whether she wants to stay or bolt. It's not you. You've done your side of it. But don't meet her halfway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the fact that she wants to still come, knowing full and well who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's strange to me.
Well, is it? But you know what? The thing is that as you were speaking earlier, and I didn't mean to interrupt, guys, but as you were talking and you were saying that, for 10 years I kept her out of this. That for future, for new tarot readers, and that are going to listen to this podcast, hopefully, um, you should be honest with to the people that are around you and let them know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and I say this because once upon a time, when I was very young, with my first tarot deck, that was a long time ago. And I remember members of my in-laws once upon a time are very religious and very devout in their religion, and I didn't want to offend anybody. And so the problem there was I was fearing that what I wanted to do would not please them,
Yeah.
to the point to where I took my very first deck of Rider Waite and I got rid of it. I don't even know what I did with it. I don't know if I left it like in a public bathroom or if I threw it in the trash. I don't remember. But I was just so wrapped up in this idea of, they won't love me. They won't like me. They will think I'm a creep. All these things.
Yeah, fear of judgment.
And
It's all
that
fear of
people judge
judgment.
me. You know,
Yeah.
they'll think I'm a bad mom. They'll think everything that's the worst of me, right?
Right.
So I stopped. I stopped reading. I threw my cards out.
Oh
Well,
my.
that lasted for about, I think, about a month.
Mm.
When I came to my senses, like, you know what? I don't care. I mean, I care enough
Yeah.
to respect them for who they are.
Mhm.
Why would they not respect me? And it wasn't that they had disrespected me. It was in my head.
Your expectation.
It was
Yeah.
in my head
Yeah.
thinking that they would not accept me, that they would hate me, that they were all these ugly things, right? And I said it took me about a month to kind of clear my head and think, well, wait a minute. They know who I am. They know my persona. They know
Yeah.
they know my values. They know if they don't like the tarot, they don't like the tarot. It's not about me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And if they have a problem with it, guess what? It's their problem, not
Well,
mine.
that's
And
that's the
I think,
mantra. That's the mantra we need to keep telling ourselves as new tarot readers, or experienced tarot readers. But nevertheless, it still hits. And I think that for what I would
It's
tell
a human
somebody who's
condition.
new at it, that, until you're comfortable, you don't have to share. But at the same time, I'm from corporate America, so I'm always talking about corporate things, right? The elevator pitch. I always, in all my trainings, I talk about having an elevator pitch. The average elevator ride is 15 seconds. And you need, and if you were to run into somebody that asked you, what you do for a living in 50, and you have 15 seconds on that elevator ride to impress somebody, what would that 15 seconds say? And I always tell people, develop, what is it? I mean, you're a tarot reader. Why are you a tarot reader? Why do you like tarot? Why are you doing it? Come up with a 15-second blurb that you can say to anybody that asks you that. And it helps if if they get on you, you can just say, hey, this is, especially if you're just coming out and you're saying, oh, yeah, I read tarot. And they go, why do you do that? Or something. It's like, oh, blah, 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 I do
So
it,
what's
for
yours?
self-discovery and whatever, you just take the best of, go on AI and ask them to write you a pitch.
No,
It's
I
like,
want to hear your pitch.
We want to hear your pitch. What's your pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
mine. Well, okay. So when somebody comes in to my shop, what I let them know is this: all of us, we all read differently. Everybody has a little different way that they believe in what they do. I believe that we have spirits all around us all the time, and all they want to do is help guide us in the right direction. But they have trouble getting through the veil. And so when we give them cards and pictures and a way to get through to us, it's like a playground for them. And I have certain positions for my cards, and I know my cards very well. And so when I lay out the cards, I believe they're spirit driven. I believe that whatever cards that you get today are the cards you were absolutely meant to have, and the message is there. my job is just to help you figure out what they're trying to tell you. And I love pictorial decks for my readings because I can show somebody the devil card. I can show somebody the two of swords, and I can explain it. You're sitting on the fence. Why are you doing that? And they can relate to a lot of the cards, and then they can have that conversation with me. But I just let them know that I am, and Dee, your email address is, I'm just the messenger, right? It's
Yep,
like,
just the
and
messenger.
so you kind of feel the same way I do, where we're just messengers trying to pass on what spirit is conveying.
But it's
So
also a gift. And it's a gift that if you are truly um truly want to feel like you're helping people with their cards, or and to eliminate that fear that they have, just your essence alone and your aura and your energy is enough that if they have any further questions and they see it, they can bring it up and talk about it.
right.
But when I say it's a gift, and they'll say, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, too bad you got missed
Mhm.
because it's my gift and this is what I do. Would you
Well,
like to hear what I can do?" Um, and I don't get too much of the it too much of the, oh, it's crazy stuff there, or anything like that. I never get that. But the interesting piece about it is once they see the cards come out here and there and they see those pictures, and I'll every once in a while we'll mention to them, so what do you see?
yeah,
They've never been asked that before. They don't know. So
yeah.
it's kind of a aha moment.
I
But
think you,
If you're sitting at a social event, a barbecue, right, and someone sits next to you and you happen to mention that you're doing cards, and then they start to, would you debate them at that moment? I mean, would you feel the need to debate them, or would you walk away from that?
for me, I debate. I need to get down to
Yeah,
the
you
bottom of it,
would.
find out what is. Take your shoes off. Come on, I'll let you. Let's see. I'm going to start grounding you. I'm going to start showing you this. Put this rock in your hand. What is it? What do you feel? Things that they never think about. Rub the top of your head so that you see clearly. Come on. I'm always doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
and
you,
so
I think you really touched on something that was very important, Dee. Your personal essence, your aura. I mean, what you are doing as a reader, as a human being, you
mhm,
know, people, if you're doing something from the heart, from the goodness, of your soul, it
mhm,
will reflect out, and people will see it. People, it's even the most skeptical person
mhm.
can't help it when they walk up to a person who is actually radiating, honesty and goodness.
Well, that
Uh,
didn't help with me at those two events.
well, the thing
My
is
my
that,
essence didn't help. They walked up
well,
and they were flat
no,
out.
here
It
you,
was, God does not approve,
well, see, and why did they come to you for that?
Mhm.
Why did they say
Why
that to
did
you?
they? And then why did they feel the need to? Well, they had such a strong belief, and like I said, I try to respect that.
But
In
that's
spite
also
of them,
ego.
I try to respect
Say
that.
that again.
I said that's ego. What you're
It's
running
ego.
into is ego.
Yeah.
Is
Exactly.
Absolutely.
somebody
That's
saying,
not
I am going to prove that I am better than you,
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
right? And
That's how it
I
feels.
don't listen to ego. I don't listen to ego.
I don't
We
either.
all, I have enough trouble struggling with my own because trust me, it's approximately the size of the moon, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I have
And
to, that was my mother's nickname for me. Watch out, the ego has landed.
Oh,
It's the
love it.
truth, right?
Love it.
And every once in a while, I grab myself by the shirt collar and give myself a good shake because it's like, get over yourself, woman, right?
Yeah.
You know,
And I guess that's why I can often spot it very quickly in other people because it's like looking in a mirror. It's like,
yeah.
I know what's going on here because that's me.
Well, like I said, we are energy. We
Yes.
we are all energy, and whatever energy is coming, that we're putting out, uh, doesn't necessarily come back to us. But
Yeah.
when confronted with something that is so negative,
Mhm.
it's they're coming for a fight because what they probably saw in you was, okay, they had ego,
Mhm.
fear of what you're doing, fear of what you're doing, because maybe what you're doing is okay, but they don't want to accept that because that's not that's not ingrained in them.
Right.
And so, I mean, I talk a big talk about, I'd come out, I'd say this, I'd say that, but in reality, my response to somebody like that in the real world would probably be like, okay, you know what? That's, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
right.
Move on.
Thank you for your opinion.
Yeah, great.
I
Well,
respect the fact that you have an opinion, and so do I,
I mean, that's what I would say on the outside. On the inside, I would probably be saying, I see you in hell,
Yeah.
I'd be saying, see you later,
We're done.
jackass. Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right. But that's part of
I
being a
like,
professional.
I
Dr.
like,
Dr. Michelle, who Dino's, uh,
Mhm.
she is very well versed in theology, and she's a psychotherapist,
Hmm.
and she's an angel and animal communicator. And so she's a real interesting person, but to have her in this conversation, look out, because she going up against a religious person, and usually it's the religious right that have the real problem, that are the most vocal. And she can quote scripture and verse, I mean, like all day long, about, to refute a lot of the things that are said. She said there's more in the Bible about, that we're okay than the negative stuff. And she can quote it all to you. But I am not versed. I'm not well versed in scripture, and so I don't like to be beaten over the head with it. So rather than, sit there and take it, I just choose to, break the connection and walk away. And you don't have to engage people in this stuff. You can just thank them for their opinion and walk away until you feel strong enough, or until you feel like you know enough to go up and to debate them. So,
Yeah,
I just think it's a tough spot, for a lot of people are very uncomfortable,
yeah, I
you know.
don't think, debating someone else's religion is productive
No.
No,
no,
it's
because
not.
it's theirs. It's
Yeah.
what
people
they
are
believe
people are
is
entitled to their own opinion, and I
exactly.
think I like the idea of just saying, look, what an interesting point of view, or that's a very interesting point of view. Thank you. I mean, what are they going to say to that?
And move
You've
on.
acknowledged that they're entitled to it, that it's only their point of view. And I liked what Dee said earlier on. I think a lot of this for people who are starting off, it's very important to set the intent, to set your intent to protect yourself before you start, to put this kind of
Absolutely.
a cloud of protection around
That's
yourself.
true.
Don't let any negativity through. I think that's major. Don't allow it through, but also that none of your ego or that your own inner judgment escape through that. That so you put this dome, this crystal dome around you that stops anything like that happening, and then set your best intent that everything you do or say or hear or repeat is going to be for your highest good and healing and their highest good and healing. And do this in the name of whoever
Mhm.
people live in. And that, I mean, where can you go wrong there?
You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's a very good point, is doing whatever you practice. Everybody has something different to protect yourself,
Mhm.
and
Correct.
so that you don't take that with you. And our auras, our energetic field around us can pick up a lot of what I call psychic debris, and it kind of sticks to us and makes us feel icky. And I think there are days when I'm feeling very high vibrational, and this stuff just bounces off of me and goes back and smacks them right in the face. but just by walking through. And then there are other days where I feel very low vibrational, and I think I kind of pick up some of that stuff. So I think it's kind of your mood. Now,
Yeah, but when you
for
go ahead.
me, I have rituals. I burn dragon's blood at home, which I'm starting to really get used to. I really like the smell, and I have a I have I have they're called flow through cones,
Oh,
and then
those
Yeah,
are
I have this beautiful incense burner, right? That's like it's like a waterfall. When you do these flow through cones, it kind of goes down and around. And they're really pretty, but
those are cool. I love those. In
yeah,
fact,
that and sage sticks,
well, she's going to
and
show
oh
us
yeah,
one.
Anne Marie has one, doesn't she?
and
She's
this is and this the you put the cone here, and it's back. It's a back.
Bring
yeah,
it closer to
Maybe.
you. Put it
backflow
where your face is
cones.
at.
There you
Put
go.
Okay,
it,
good.
Put it right in front of your face.
yeah, in front of your face so we can see it.
Okay.
Your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let go. Move your hand so we can one hand so we can see it.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, there. I have one that's yeah. They're just beautiful and fun. But dragon's blood is a good protector, and so are sage sticks. And I've switched to sage incense sticks instead of the leaf because it's less messy and everything. But that's a way to just kind of ground yourself, before that's just a matter of breathing too, and just grounding yourself. But for aspiring terrorists, stand your ground. You have a right to do that, and just as Aunt Millie has a right to crochet without being criticized for not knitting instead. You know what I'm saying? It's something we all have. But anyway, it was just a subject that I thought was of interest. It's something I'm getting ready to have to deal with coming up, with somebody being just the heebie-jeebies of somebody being in my house that I know judges me harshly is very hard for me. So I think
Well,
what I
you
was
could you could you could always sage them before they walk into your
oh
home.
That's
Jesus, can you
true.
imagine? Oh my God. But I'll tell you right now, I got
Or you
something
can squirt them with holy water.
I
There
got
you
something.
go.
Where is it? I got something you got to see.
You
So,
could get
I told you I'm
throw
doing,
a little black salt over your shoulder. Bingo.
well, I told you people
You're
don't know
covered.
I'm doing aura cleansings, right, with the eggs. And I had somebody tell me, they said, one of the traditions, and older Hispanic woman told me, one of the traditions is light a white candle to while you're doing it for divine protection, right? But if you want, if you, but somebody else told me, well, it's black candles, not white candles that protect. I'm not comfortable, with the black candles, but I did buy a couple anyway, and I bought this at Hobby Lobby. But I'm going to tell you, and then I just drip a little bit of thing to make this thing stand up. But this is a scary looking candle when it's going. I'm telling you, it's like it's kind of almost ooh, it's a little
Well,
dark.
black keeps out the negativity. So if you set it there and you put that closer to where they are, that keeps out negative. But the
She-
white
She's
is
gonna
for
panic when she
you.
sees this. I mean, it really looks like witchcraft.
The
Yeah.
white is for you to keep your energies so theirs don't cross yours. I'll give
Yeah.
you a little tidbit. I think this is history. I have no idea. I dibble dabble in magic and witchery, and I have a cousin who we both dibble dabble in it. Anyway, he made me aware that way back before, I think probably back before Christianity was even a word, that there was an angel for the tarot, and it was called HRU, and they've lost what the initials mean, but this angel was there to assist you in your tarot readings. So it was said that if someone did a card reading, they to blend the HRU together, they'd say Hiru. They called it Hiru, Hiru, Hiru. And that was your blessing, and your assistant was there to came in and helped you with your tarot read.
There you go.
Nice.
Ooh, that's woo.
That's
Well, I appreciate the conversation and all the help. A couple of things that I'd like to end with here is, um, you know, Kate, we've talked about this because Kate and I both are collectors of decks. Oh my God. Well, D probably has more decks than any of us. Talk about collectors, but we love the artwork.
I'm gonna have a cabinet built special
Yeah,
for me.
I
So
buy
yeah,
decks.
I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah.
I buy some decks that I buy just for the artwork, and I have one that I bought off of Etsy that was so freaking beautiful. Let me get this one. Let me see, is our card in here? It tells you. Yeah. Okay. But I had a lot of criticism about it. It didn't come in a box. It came tied with a string around it in a little shipping box made of chipboard that it barely made it without being crushed. There was no card that told you there was this is the back
Oh, cool.
and they gave you like four of these, but none of them had the name of the deck on it. I had to go on Etsy to find the name of the deck. It was called Colorful Dreams Tarot. Colorful Dreams Tarot. And I have since used a label maker and stuck it on one of these. So I had it in here so I knew the name of it. But the artwork in this thing is
Wow.
absolutely sensational. And I love the colors. And I've been working with it lately. And I really, really like the way it reads. But it's just weird, you know, it's just kind of a weird deck. But just today, eclectic.net, if nobody knows about it, it's so big. We all know about it. Eclectic.net, she has started up that website again. She put it dormant for so long, but left it go up and running. She is talking about a new deck today called Artist Decoded Tarot. And it is a tarot deck that was created by AI. And, you know, willfully, outfully, the artwork was created by artificial intelligence. And she doesn't know how she feels about this deck just because of that. She said, I have mixed feelings about it, even though it's aesthetically attractive and made with the solid knowledge of tarot. And you guys, you need to go to eclectic.net and I'll put it down below in the description too, under what we discussed, mentioned in this video. But oh my God, I might need to get this deck. It is really, really beautiful. And I love the imagery of this deck. But it's called again, I don't remember what it's called again. It's
Artist decoded.
Artist Decoded Tarot.
Yeah.
So,
Artist
you know,
decoded.
but Kate, for you that likes artwork, you need to see this deck. It's really something.
I'll check it out. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, me
I will
too.
definitely check it
Now,
out as well.
last month I gave you we talked about just, you know, pulling cards on everyday situations. And I came up with all these situations, you know, and had you guys pull cards on them. And you know, I don't know if our viewers had a good time with it, but well, a couple of them said they loved some of our analogies, right? Because that's what they're always looking for, how to, you know, analogies and things. But we had such a great time doing it that I thought we'd do it again next month. You know,
Mm.
a little lighter tone than the subject this month.
Yeah,
It was fun. It was
yeah, because
fun.
it's all about us, right? Having fun.
Well, of
Of
course it
course,
is, right?
of course.
Hey, Kate, we are
Yep.
so glad to have you back.
Yes.
Oh, it's
We
good to
are,
be
and
back on the road to recovery.
yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's
Thanks.
great.
So glad to have you
Good to
back.
see you.
And you know what? Everybody take care and have a great have a great month. And I'll see you all on the other side and let you know if anything, you know, came out of that you know, that situation I had.
Please do.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
you guys. It was
look forward.
Sounded.
Sending you light and
nice to
energy.
see you. Take care.